Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tammy coming to you live today from my office. A few minutes after 10:30, but not much. Only about 10 minutes, after, because time's imaginary. It's how I always say it. And we are going to talk today. I've not been here I think I was here last week. Did I come last week? Yeah, I was here last week, but I have been out for a minute, just not feeling the greatest. And so as you jump on here, please say hello. Tell us where you're watching from and give us a howdy ho. We are here in Farmville today. And we're going to start today by kind of centering our energy, taking some breaths. I actually got a little bit of makeup, just a little bit on today, not a whole lot. I just put a little powder on and a little bit of like highlighter on my eyes so that I didn't look so dead. Trying to feel like more like myself. But this is way more fun with friends. So if you jump on here, please do me a favor. Say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. All of those good things today. I would very much appreciate you. Today we are here for Sunday sermon, and it's called The Grace of the Wait, right? So as you're jumping on today, we're going to do a couple little things. Just want to center our energy. And, I always say if you can do it, put your feet deadly straight on the ground. Get your dirty hippie feet right onto the ground outside on your floor. Just try to get yourself grounded in your seat, and you can feel the support of your chair holding you. And I want you to, hey, Norma Jean from Abilene. So glad you're here this morning. Make sure you're getting in a spot where you can get yourself grounded this morning. We're going to take some deep breaths in through our nose. We're going to exhale out through our mouths. So we need to make sure we're doing that so we can feel our energy kind of settle in the space. I feel like I have to reset my energy a lot these days. But we are going with the flow, and we are remembering to reset our energy when we need to and to give ourselves grace and patience. So today's message is definitely one where I'm talking to everybody out there, including myself. And let's do that again. We're going to inhale what we need, some peace, some patience, some permission, right? Some permission to let go. And we're going to exhale anything that's got you tense. So as you take those big breaths in, as you're joining us, inhale the things that you need. Like when you're inhaling those big breaths, inhaling joy, exhaling worry, right? So just inhale and take in all the things God has given you that you want, and then just push away and exhale all those things that no longer serve you, need to leave, right? Pressure, guilt, grip, or needing everything to happen right now, right? We're going to release all of that feeling today, right? Inhaling the good, exhaling the bad. I used to say something funny with that, like inhale the good shit, exhale the bad shit, right? So just inhale those things that are serving you, patience, permission to be wholly yourself. And exhale pressure, guilt, and anything that you're gripping on too tightly, especially into the things you're gripping on that I got to have it right now, right? That thing that's like urgent to you, like that thing that you think you have to have just this exact minute. I want you to let go of that. That's what we're going to talk about today, right? Because that's exactly what we're talking about today. It's about patience. And I posted a thing in my stories this week, and it was like, the P in my name stands for patience, and that's why it's not there. And it's funny because I went through like my whole name, Tammy Sue Deskins Nelson, and there's not a P anywhere to be found. And that's kind of how today's Sunday sermon was born, was exactly from that exact saying, was that there's no patience. I have no patience. And I'm saying like not the soft, the quiet kind of patience that you light a candle and you journal about, right? But that gritty, uncomfortable, spiritual patience that finds you when things don't go your way, right? When life's not going your way, the kind that comes from not when you're peaceful, but from when you're pissed that things are taking too long, right? We're going to try to unwind that today, right? Not the patience of your healing and recognizing that you can only heal to where you are. I'm talking about like when nothing's going your way, you're trying to get through life, and you're just right? We're gonna unwind and figure out how to make that a little bit more comfortable today. So if you can do me a favor, like I said, as you jump on here today, drop us a hello, tell us where you're watching from, tag a friend. We would love to know where in the world you are today. We'd like you to share this out if you're able to. If you're watching it on YouTube, like Miss Norma Jean from Abilene is, right? Norma Jean from Abilene's watching over there on YouTube. Subscribe to it. Hit the thumbs up button. It helps people to find it. People can talk about it that way. So we're going to go right into it today. You know, people sometimes like wait for like 10 people to jump on. But the way that I feel about this is this video is going to find you exactly when it needs to. And so much of what I do, people think that, like I said, like we've done a whole sermon on this, that I'm doing it for the likes and the thumbs up and all those things. And I'm really not. Like, this is the message that I was like laid upon my heart to come and go live and give. And God always tells me, like, and you know, I've had bouts. We've had whole sermons about, you know, like, why am I doing the work if nobody's getting it? And God's like, it's not for you to wonder about when they get it. That is my job, is to, like, you plant the seed and then God takes care of the rest. So when he lays something upon my heart to share, or they lay something upon my heart to share, I certainly do that. So I hope that when this video finds you, it resonates with you, and that it serves its purpose when it does. And whatever that may be, then that may be. And it's not for me to wonder about that. So let's go to our first part of our Sunday sermon today, right? I'm going to talk about a little bit about what's going on with me, and then we're going to bring this full circle back around like we do. I have been trying to really be more succinct in my messaging with Sunday sermons so that people don't get lost in the ums and the ahs and the squirrels and the sidetracks. I do ask before I come on all of these lives to be a clear and perfect channel for the message that I'm about to receive from Spirit, and for the message that I'm about to give that God has laid upon my heart, that I want to be able to do it justice when God says, hey, this is the thing I want you to go speak about because someone needs to hear this. I always ask that God bless me and let me be a clear and perfect deliverer of the message, right? Because it's, you know, it's not me that does it. It's always something larger than me. It's that God spark, it's Spirit, it's source, it's universe, whatever your words are. And so this is what was laid on my heart to share with you all right now. So the sit down you didn't ask for, you don't ask for, right? And that's what's happened to me. I have been sick, and I'm still kind of snotty, and my ear's still full since April 25th. I had to go back on Facebook and look at it, and not like sniffly sick like I am now, and I will bounce back in 2 days sick, but like, I mean sick, like weak, worn out, aching, not myself. Like, I really just felt outside of my body. Any kind of noise reverberated in my head and made me feel really out of balance. Like, I've still got a little vertigo and a little like weirdness in my ears. And listen, I know better, right? I know how to rest. I know to listen to my body. I mean, I come on and I always have fingers pointing at it, right? I didn't listen. And I talk about the trees falling in our path, and like, it was a dam before it set me down, right? I kept pushing because I believe when you're a dreamer and a doer, slowing down feels like failure. And I've unpacked that, right? Like, when I can't go and do, I feel like I've failed. Like 100%. That's how it makes me personally feel. But here's what I know now, right? If I don't slow down, or if you don't slow down, the universe will set you down, right? And not out of punishment, but out of mercy, right? And so because the pace that I was moving at, I've been moving at, it's unsustainable. And as much as I want to be like, have the big S on my chest, right, and have the ego, God told me something. I had this written in a journal, and it just came in. It's not on here, but it just came in that I needed to share it, right? That exhaustion and poverty were not the rewards of a job well done, right? That I was not to work myself into poverty or into exhaustion. That was not like the martyrdom of a job well done, right? That not to equate like the fact that I work till I'm dead dog tired is that's a good thing, right? To understand that that's not the reward for it, and I'm allowed to rest, and then I should be able to enjoy the successes and the fruits of my labor well and happy and not exhausted and all the things, right? But I wouldn't stop. So God said, you're going to stop. God stopped me. That sickness, this sickness, whatever it is, as miserable as it's been, has given me the time that I didn't think that I had, right? time that I did not think that I had, time to reflect, time to remember, time to reconnect with what that deeper why of what I'm doing. And it was a blessing, right? It was a blessing in disguise. And so in that time to reconnect and the deeper why I was doing this, I kind of like started, like, I was at home a lot and my brain goes crazy. And it was interesting because source not only stopped me physically, God also kind of put a block up mentally. Excuse me for a second. I got such dry mouth. Such dry mouth. So it also gave me a little mental block, but encouraged me to, like, I call it recall journaling. So I with journals, and I said, read through your old journals. There's something that you need that's in this that you need to see, because a lot of times in our not being patient and not slowing down, we also forget the journey that we've been on and how far we've come from the beginning of our journey, right? So that leads us into the next part of the sermon, right? Part 2, the conversation that changed everything. In recall journaling, I found some notes I'd written, a journal I'd written to myself about going and talking to my family. And it was, I want to go back to November of 2019. Evan and I had just, well, Rhett and I and Evan was relocated with us. We had just kind of like left Richmond. We were getting settled into our house in Cumberland. It was the first, we had just been there. We moved in October. So Evan kind of stayed through October in Richmond, and he kind of got there in November. It was the beginning of November of 2019. We were sitting at home. But where this dream kind of was, and I don't think this dream was born there, but I think this dream was spoken into existence there, if that makes sense, right? And if you're on here, comments help keep the live in the stream. So you can say whoop, whoop, hello. If somebody, I'm wondering if I'm not on Facebook, because obviously there's only Norma Jean from the and Facebook can be weird right now. I feel like every time I speak my mind about something, it show me live. I'm gonna say good morning. I'm gonna send myself a comment. There's some likes on there so that somebody might be able to find it, because I don't want it to be lost. But again, it'll find you when it finds you. So I was sitting at home, and I said I kind of spoke the stream into existence there, right? We spoke into existence there. I was talking to Red and Evan, and I set them at the table, and I said something that changed everything. I said, I am done letting other people control my time. And that the thing that had kept me in corporate America for so long, because it was killing my soul, was the overhead that I had incurred, right? I had worked myself into having to work for that salary to be able to make ends meet. And when we lost everything, right, when we didn't have the brand new cars anymore, we didn't have the brand new custom built home, I was bankrupt, I was clear slate, then I knew that I really struggled with the fact that my most miserable was when I had the most monetary and the most things, the most materialistic things. Like when I had brand new cars, I could go buy what I wanted to. I had credit cards, I could go on vacations. We had a beautiful, we custom built a home in Chester. What I paid for the lot will probably build our house plus pay for our land and not away, just stupid stuff, right? But in that moment, I knew that, like, even that mess, I think that was the message that came out of that mess, was God said, you are free. Like, and that, I very much believe that our human bodies are the prison that keeps our souls here, because the human body focuses on all the material, the creature comforts, the materialistic wealth, all of those things. And I knew in that moment that I wanted to build a different kind of life, one that where, I didn't want anybody to control my time. I didn't even know pandemic was coming. And even during pandemic, I worked from home remotely for a company, and they controlled my time. I just didn't know how big that one conversation, right? I knew in that moment that I was supposed to build something of my own not just a business, but a space that reflected my heart, a place where people where they felt seen, and where they could sit down and be nourished, right? Not just by food, but by energy, by care, and by something real, right? I knew in that moment when I was having that kind of like come to Jesus back then that these things were important to me. I didn't know how long it would take, right? I said it out loud thinking tomorrow I'd wake up and it'd be different, right? And I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Patience isn't passive, it's preparation. And this vision has taken years to prepare, right? And talk about this, and this is the thing, like I went through the journals, and this is where part 3 comes into, right? And I thought about all the times that I thought that I like let y'all down, or like something didn't come to fruition that I talked about. And if I could show y'all all of the versions of this dream, a lot of you have been around for a while, and you have been privy to me talking them out loud, because I very much am an oversharer. If it comes in my head, sometimes it comes out of my mouth. I've been playing things a little closer to the vest. But if y'all could show you all the draft after draft, the names, the logos, the menu, the vibes, right? We've been through some of them: Hometown Hippie, Sugar Magnolia. We've tried some of the ideas, right? We've done pop-ups, and we've done dinners, and we've done boxes, fun boxes, and farm to table brunch ideas. And you heard it all. If you name it, I've imagined it. And at each stage of that, right, I thought, wow, this is it. This is the thing that's going to be, this is the one, until it wasn't, right? Until it wasn't. And, as a doer, as a dreamer, it took me a while through this journey of understanding patience, and what this all was doing was I felt very much like a failure. Every time that one of my big ideas was a big idea and I thought it was great, and we threw it up on the wall and it didn't stick, I felt like a failure. And this recall journaling, right, helped me go back in and see this. And I know some of you probably felt that way too, right? Maybe you have tried a couple of different careers. Maybe you've had relationships that just didn't work out. Maybe you are not in where you want to be right now. You're looking at all these things as failures. They're not. They're just drafts, right? They were drafts. Each one got me closer to what it is what was really meant to be. Right? Every edit shaped me. Every delay refined me. Patience gives the seed time to become what it was meant to be. Patience. This is what is in my little thing about the growing underneath. We recall journal, right? Patience gives the seed time to become what it was meant to be. And it's interesting because the image that comes in from that is Red and I, the first year we lived in that house, right? The first year we lived there, we got really into gardening. It was our first summer back in the country. We had a lot of land, already a natural garden spot. So we planted a giant garden, and we planted all the seeds. And every day we walked outside. From the moment we planted it, we watered it. We walked inside, like, I wonder if our plants are growing yet. We kept watching to see if it was going to pop up and going to grow. And it's interesting because we learned a little lessons. I said I recall journal this. The first year we were there, we planted this garden, and we were going to make pickles. It was my big thing that year. I wanted to make some pickles, so we planted a nice size cucumber patch. And we planted the seeds, and we watered them, and we planted all the garden, and everything started to pop up and start looking like things were going to work. And our cucumber patch was just dormant. It did nothing. It was not growing anything. It was just dead as a doornail, like nothing was working. So Saturday morning, and we're like, well, we walked the garden. I'm like, we had some other plants. We were gonna different timing. I said, let's go to Lowe's. Let's go up and get our seeds. Where it's like, I think we need to go ahead and get some more cucumber seeds, and we'll plant the cucumbers again, and we'll plant them over here. Maybe it's not a spot for cucumbers. Maybe it's too much this. Maybe it's too much that. So we went to Lowe's that day, and we got 6 packs of cucumber seeds. And we came home, and a little section away from where we planted the first ones, we went ahead and hoed up some cucumber hills, put the seeds in, watered them. It's great. It's going to be this. Hopefully these will work. We'll just have cucumbers a little later. And we did not let the seed do its thing, right? Because it was literally the next morning when we woke up. We walked outside on the deck to have our coffee or what, as we did back then. And we looked out in the garden, and that first cucumber patch, it was like overnight Jack and the Giant Beanstalk. It was like cucumbers were just growing underground, and all of a sudden, I mean, it was like crazy. It was like the whole cucumber patch came alive. And we laugh about that because, had we had the patience, had we had the patience to let the seed grow, patience gives the seed time to become what it was meant to be. Had we had the patience to allow that cucumber patch to be what it was meant to be, we wouldn't have had the amount of cucumbers we had that year. Because let me tell y'all, that other one did well too, and I think I did over 100 pounds of pickles that year. But that's kind of just a little story, a little true story about actual seeds. But that's the thing with you too, right? Patience gives what's meant to be time to become. Not what you rushed into, not what you settled for, but what was truly aligned. And that takes time. That takes time. What this was supposed to be couldn't have been created that night at the kitchen table. The first draft of it was, right? And that's what I talk about, like, patience is preparation, right? The preparation. Because part 4 goes into, and I'm trying to be mindful of everybody's time today. So part 4 is that patience isn't passive, right? And I have a quote from Leo Tolstoy, right? So the quote from Leo Tolstoy is, "The two most powerful warriors are patience and time." And I feel like they are very powerful warriors because they never lose, right? Those two things are so like steadfast. And those probably are the two things that I fight the hardest, right? For me. Patience is not about waiting around and hoping things change. Patience is not passive, right? It doesn't mean we sit in the jobs that would drain us, in relationships that flatten us, or in situations that shrink us, doing nothing at all, just saying it's what it is. I'm just waiting on God. I talk about don't sit in your office like, oh, everything's going to be fine, right? If you're in a job that you keep saying that you hate, if you say I'm being patient for the next opportunity, but you're not even looking and you're not even shifting your mindset or even allowing yourself to dream of what's next, that's not patience. That's stagnation. Okay, so there's a difference, right? You have to give the universe time, but that doesn't mean that you sit stagnant and do nothing to help that process along, okay? Because the truth is, if you're not changing it, you should know the fill in the blanks, right? If you're watching this, if you're not changing it, what are you doing? You're choosing it, right? So if you're not changing it, you're choosing it. And change doesn't have to be big or dramatic. It can be a shift in your thoughts. It can be a sitting down and saying, what would it feel like to be in a job that I love? Right? So if you're out there right now and you're doing something that you absolutely despise, you hate the job that you're in, I want you right now to take a deep breath in and say, what would it feel like to be in a job that I love? Like, feel it in your body, right? Letting yourself feel that feeling right now. Like, feel that feeling right now. Because where your mind goes, your energy flows. And that's what I started doing. When I talked about finding a space for people to be seen, like, I sat in the feeling of knowing that no one controlled what I did. Like, I made those decisions. I went into a place of a place where, as people that come in, they feel like they got a hug when they wrapped around. Like, that's the energy that I put into my mind's eye vision of what I was doing, and then everything else has just been the steps to get me here, right? The drafts of what we're doing. And so the same thing with you, right? So where your mind goes, your energy flows. So start building that next season in your imagination. Start building that perfect relationship, that perfect Sunday afternoon with your partner, how that feels, and manifest that, because that's what you're going to be able to attract. You might not be able to tell the universe, I want this. You can totally ask for it, but what you will get will be that the thing that you, to your highest and best, okay? Live it in your mind's eye. Now, maybe you want a better position. Let's say that you're an LPN and your heart is set on being like an RN charge nurse. That's not just about waiting for someone to give you a little, a title. That means that you have to say, what can I do to prepare for what I'm claiming, right? Sometimes you have to say, because that's the thing. A lot of us want to think about stuff, but do we want to do the work to get there? Because we have to do that too, right? It's an exchange of energy. God, the universe is giving you some energy. You may have to put some energy out to get the thing that you want, right? So what can you do? Maybe it means taking a class. Maybe that means talking to people who are already doing the job and finding out more about how to get there. Maybe it means learning how to lead where you already are before that title ever shows up, right? Because patience is not doing nothing. It's the doing of aligned things, the little things, the faithful things, without rushing the outcome. And that's the thing that I have to stop doing, is rushing the outcome, right? I try to rush the outcome. But I'm reminding myself to stay aligned during this time of being down, right? To stay aligned with the little things, the faithful things, and not rush the outcome. This Riverside project, I want to right now put everything that I have in Hawk. I could go by next week and have some high interest business loan that'll probably bankrupt me again to get it. Just to get it. I can put lipstick on a pig, open it up as it is, make it work, figure it out, hump it along. But this one, this draft, this is this is kind of like I'm at base camp on the Himalayas on Mount Everest, right? And the Riverside project is the peak of the Himalayas. And although I've still got a long journey up that from base camp to the summit, I know that I'm going to get there. I'm going to wait for the Sherpas. I'm going to wait for the weather to be right. I'm going to listen to all the people that I need to listen to, because this time it matters. This is one of those things where I feel like, and I don't ever want to limit source, but I feel like this is the one that all of these things up until now has been preparing me for. And I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but I want to just, sometimes my heart takes over, right? So so this season of being sick, being still set down, is part 5, and I did skip ahead, but I'm excited about this sermon means a lot to me. The surrender season, right? Surrendering. So the other thing that I learned in this season I need to talk about, right, is that, and this was in the thing about Riverside, if I'm the only one holding it together, if I'm the only one making the food, running the show, sending the emails, writing the menus, then is this dream, like the thing about people feeling seen, people, like, is that thing really working? Or is it puppeteering a dream that isn't sustainable? That's the question I had to ask. But y'all, right, while I was down, my team showed up. While I was down, my team showed up. They cooked, they packed, they handled the deliveries, they handled the business. And I saw something I didn't expect to see, because, ego, right? It kept going without me. It kept going without me. And that's not a threat to my value. That's proof to what I'm building, right? That's proof that the thing that I want to do is I want to build a legacy. Like whenever the whole thing of this, right? The recall is that I was at a family reunion after my mom passed away. And someone said, as long as you are on the planet, your mom will never be gone because you are her incarnate. And it sat me down and made me cry, because I was like, well, when I'm gone, because I don't have, a legacy, any children, anybody to pass this down to. When I'm gone, there's going to be no part of my mom in the world. And what it took me some time to come up with was that I'm not just Julie's daughter, right? I am Tammy, and that my mother through being wholly myself, and the legacy of my heart is what I'm leaving behind. She left the legacy of her heart. I want to leave the legacy of my heart into the kitchen, the place that I'm building, that it can go on and live in perpetuity and provide for my town and my community for generations to come. My family has served Farmville in some respect for about 4 to 5 generations through restaurants and farming, and we have been the food providers and creators. There's other people, of course, but I feel very grounded in the fact that my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mothers, my aunts, my sisters, my sisters-in-law, my cousins, and myself have all served people in this community through owned restaurants, through working for, and through other side, which was a dairy farm. We provided milk to pet. So, and then we, also grew, had beef cows, and we had, we had fresh beef and things like that. So, what I'm building is not dependent upon me having to breathe air into it. That's what I want to be able to do, is pass along the things that I have learned and the customer service that I have learned into the next generation, and then that continue to go and continue to do its thing. And so it's interesting that was kind of my lesson the last couple of weeks. And when I met with the investor, people that are helping me like get the investor packets together and showing that it can make money, and see if banks will loan me money based on my business value and all of that. What they said was, are you a good risk? If you go out tonight, are they investing in Tammy, or are they investing in Grateful Fed? Because, and I had, I was like, oh, wow, because they said, what if you get hit by a bus? Do they lose their investment because you're not running the show? Are you the magic? And so are you a good risk? And I had to sit with that, because I have felt like I've been the whole show. But in this season, I got the gift of seeing that we're not just a personality, right? We're not just me, we're a team. We're a team. Movement among us works when the leader's back, and the realization would not have come without me being in a season of surrender. And I am so grateful for it, right? I am so grateful for it. And so maybe, some of what you need to do in this season is recognizing, where can you take a step back and look at it from a different perspective, right? So now we're going to move on to part 6 for you in the waiting. Sorry. All right. So let me turn this now from my story to yours. Where are you feeling stuck? Where are you feeling frustrated that the vision isn't here yet? What dream have you shelved because it's taking too long? Right? This message isn't about my life. It's for every person who's in a waiting season, right? Every person who's in a waiting season. For every person rebuilding, for every person wondering, did I miss my moment? You didn't. You're not late. You're just growing roots, right? Sometimes the blessing takes time, so you can be strong enough to carry it when it arrives. That's another one of those messages in my book, that sometimes the blessing takes time, so you can be strong enough to carry it when it arrives. And that's the preparation part in the patience, right? Maybe you're in a waiting season. Maybe you're in a season of loss. You've lost something or someone. Maybe the vision's gotten foggy, or the timeline's blown up. Maybe that vision you have of your later years, your retirement, is not exactly what you thought it would look like. But God wants you to stop here, and I want you to reimagine it, right? You're in that lost season. Let me remind you of this. You are not behind. You're not forgotten. You're not doing it wrong just because it's taking longer than you thought. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. The roots have to grow before the blooms show. And what's for you will not miss you. But you've got to be ready to receive it. And God says, let the waiting shape you, not shame you. This is very much a channeled message for you all, for me today. This was, I asked God to give me a channeled message for you. Because it was about telling my story of needing to be patient in this time. And I needed to reflect it out to make sure it was of value to each and every one of you. And this is the message that I got to give you verbatim was, sometimes the blessings take time so you can be strong enough to carry it when it arrives. Maybe you're in a waiting season. Maybe you've lost something. Maybe the vision's gotten foggy or the timeline's blown up. And you're asking, why is it taking so long? Let me remind you of this. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not doing it wrong just because it's taking longer than you thought. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. The roots have to grow before the bloom shows, and what's for you will not miss you. But you've got to be ready to receive it. Let the waiting shape you, not shame you. And that was a big message for me about letting the waiting shape me, not shame me. Because I felt very ashamed that I didn't have the money in the bank to go buy this building. I'm very ashamed that I have to look for investors and hope that I can find people to help me do this. And God said, what message would you give somebody else? I'm like, well, tell them that, that's part of the, the process is letting it shape who you are and gives you character. And that's the message that came out. Let the waiting shape you, not shame you. And that was my line. And then sometimes the blessing takes time. So you can be strong enough to carry it. Those the things came out of my journal. So I feel like those are very important messages for somebody. Like I said, whenever you find this or watch this or see this, it's going to be for you then. So we're going to centering in the now. So what we want to do now is another little breath work exercise. I said, we're going to end this today. We're going to breathe it in. We're going to take in this message, center ourselves in the energy of it. We're going to pull our crystal card, do our final blessing, and get off of here. I'm trying to be a little more succinct. Nobody wants to sit here for an hour and watch a live, right? So we're going to breathe in again, that same exercise. Anytime you need to center your energy, I tell people to find a place to get your feet on the ground firmly, set straight up. You can put your hands in your lap to kind of palms to receive any good God energy. And we're going to breathe in. Inhale big through your nose. Inhale the I am becoming. Exhale. I trust the timing of my life, right? I am becoming, and I trust the timing of my life. Take some deep breaths in through your nose. Exhale the things that are not serving to make room for that. And the messages that I want you to take away this week are, I trust the timing of my life. I bloom when I am ready. And I want you to sit here in these deep breaths for a moment. And I don't want you to force anything this week. We don't push the river. We just stay in flow with it, right? We can't push the river. We just stay in flow with it. So I want you to ride the waves of the week, not to force anything. I want you to see the life, the love, the job, the situation you want. I want you to feel the feeling of your perfect joy and your perfect love and your perfect happiness. And I want you to stay with this feeling for a minute. And when you're ready, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start shuffling up our crystal affirmation cards. I pulled the azurite off of the altar today. We're going to remember that I am becoming, and we trust the timing of our life, and we bloom. I trust the timing of my life. I bloom when I'm ready. And as you take that next deep breath in, exhale it out, come back into this space, and we're going to go ahead and pull this crystal card as we close our time out together. I just want to say this. Thank you for walking this path with me, right? We're going to do a crystal card to close. Thank you for walking this path with me. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all the emails I've gotten supporting me for this project, for checking on me to see how I was feeling when I was sick. I say this business is more of my ministry, I feel like, than it is just a place to feed people. We cook in all of these messages into our food, patience and abundance and protection and health and pain-free and all these things. And our goal has always been to be about building a community of people who look out and take care of one another. And we appreciate you. Woo! My whole card deck just flew out of my hands. My hands don't want to work today. So if this card resonates with you, it resonates. If not, I understand. We're going to see what this card has to say today, what card we have. We go 1, 2. It just jumped out. This one just jumped out. So this is going to be the card. And that's going to be fluorite. All right. It's actually funny because when those other cards jumped out, this was one of the other cards that jumped out. So when this one jumped out again, I'm like, well, obviously it's going to jump today. So let's see what it is. and it's fluorite, and it says, look at all the colors of that, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful stone, fluorite, and it says, find peace within. And that's probably very in line with what we're talking about today, right? Find that peace, patience, and that within peace, right? Fluorite. Peace is not something you find out there. It comes from within. There's no need to wait for the whirlwind of life to stand still, and you don't even need to reach internal stillness to tap into it. Peace means the acceptance of your circumstances and the conviction of your beliefs. You can act and find solace when you are at peace with your decisions. By choosing peace, you can tune out external disturbances and embrace a calmer state of being so you can go about your daily life and confront any challenge. This card's very aligned with today, and I love that. Our core questions say, what allows you to tap into a state of inner peace? What does peace look like for you? How can you show up to life from a state of peace? And your affirmation for this card this week is, I live in a state of peace. Whenever you see a mirror today, take a deep breath and repeat your affirmation. Bring this peaceful state of being into all your activities. So fluorite, find the peace within. That's going to go on the altar, my altar this week. I love that very much. I'm going to find a piece of fluorite. So as we do our final blessing today, remember, take one more deep breath in. Inhale the good stuff. Exhale the bad. Thank you for walking this path with me, like I said. Thank you for believing in this vision. And even when it's taking its sweet time to unfold, and it's still unfolding, I am going to remember that I am becoming, right? There's no shame in it. I'm going to let it shape me, not shame me, the weight. Every order you place, every review you write, every word you share about us, you're not just supporting our business. You're helping me show the world that dreams built with love are worth investing in. Reviews are a part of our investor packet. So if you're watching this any time today, if you can go out and drop us a review on Grateful Fed, let them know it's worth investing in. But I promise you, I'm building this right. I'm not rushing it because it's sacred, and so are you. May this week bring you peace and grace to wait, right? The peace of the day and grace to wait. May you find rest in the pause. And may you remember that just because it's quiet doesn't mean nothing's happening. Some of the best growth is happening underground. And as always, we're going to end our lives with a little peace, love, a little peace, a little love, and a little feast. As always, y'all, stay elevated. I'm Tammy. Until next time, y'all be good. Talk to you soon.